Hello guys and welcome back to the gold analysis video. So we'll be forecasting what could potentially happen for the next week and how we can plan the trades. So first step starts with zone marking, right? Zone marking, I could see a zone right here, right? If I were to draw the zone, it would be more like this. Is it fine? 40, no, bit high. Yeah, I think now it should, no, not yet. Yeah, now it makes sense, right? How is this a valid zone? Support, 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 break. And here resistance, support, resistance, fake breakout, fall, right? So this becomes a valid zone, right? Next, let's move on to the next zone. I think we could take this to be one. Yeah, not this here. Somewhere like this. No, wait. Comes here. Yeah, this one. Y support, support, resistance, resistance, support, breakdown. And it is also taking the good support here. Maybe I should extend this a bit. Yeah, this works. No. This should do the job. Yes. This is doing the job. Yeah. Next, moving on. We want a proper base, right? And for the base, I think this should be the good support. The bottommost range that could potentially be covered. Oh, this is still high. 4, 5. Yeah, this works. Then moving on, next zone, somewhere out here, right? Look at the left side. Support, resistance, resistance, support, resistance, support, right? Again, this is valid. Yeah, and then we will have a zone here, right at this point. Retest. Okay, this is a bit big. Shrink. Yeah. And this should do the job. 5, no, a bit high again. It is still high. Yeah. Yeah. This is the yes. Yeah. This works, right? So these are the so this becomes the black zone, and here this will become the black zone. This was the resistance, right? That was breached and ultimately faked. Okay, we have the two zones. Now we'll be trading in between. We have about 40 pips, so there should be a zone in between as well. And that would be this zone. Okay, this is not black. I'm going to change the color. Give me a minute. Yeah. Blue. Let's get into the 15-minute to verify the validity of this zone. Yep, bingo, perfectly valid, right? So these are the zones, right, guys? These are the zones. Let me adjust this a bit for the 15-minute time frame. I think should make sense. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. No, actually, I traded it here. So this is the zone. This is more or less the liquidities, right? So you cannot consider that to be a zone. So if we extend this, we get resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance, support, resistance, then resistance, resistance, resistance. This was the liquidity that played around with it. Alright, so the zones are intact. So let's get into the 1 hour to see what is exactly happening. Right, so what do we see here? We get to see a double inverted head and shoulder, broken out straight, okay, no pullback, and the fair value gap was somewhere created around this zone that had been tapped and then failed, right? And also if we draw the Fibonacci here, what we could see is that the uptrend is absorbed. It is nearing the 0.78 zone, which means that the uptrend has been absorbed. So we will ideally look to short, right? So one, we have gotten a confirmation that the market is on the bearish side. So we would ideally want to short. Now, how do we short? That is where planning comes into play, right? So if we see, this was the first phase of the downtrend, okay? And the second phase of downtrend is this. So you generally know that a downtrend or an uptrend goes in three phases: the first phase, the second phase, and the third phase. So higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Then the fourth breakout is generally a breakout failure, and then it fails. So somehow like that, right? So this similarly, if we can see, 2, 3, 4. Fourth one was a failure, right? So now it has clearly changed this trend, and it is right now we look for bearish trades to stay with the trend for the safety purpose, right? So if we draw the fib from here to here, from here is where the pullback is not coming. Here there were temporary pullbacks, so just ignore them, right? So here what do we see? We see the fib for 0.5 to 0.6 around here in this zone, right? So we would want the pullback to come all the way until here and then take a sell side move, right? So I am marking this zone, okay, because this is a W. So what is the first plan? This, right? So going into the 1 hour, we see that this was a break of structure. Okay, I am not an SMC trader. This is just the small integrations that I have done with my setup that could potentially, yield me some good gains. So this is the kind of fair value gap that, in my opinion, forms. So we look for shorting at this point, right after the pullback, right? That is one. That is the first trade, right? Now, in case this downtrend is also observed, what will happen? So this 0.6 also breaches, and market opens here at this zone and it halts. So what does it form? It forms a retest trap. Then we will look for the upside trade. Why? Because what do we see here? This is an kind of head and shoulder breakdown. Now if the head and shoulder is being retested, then all the sellers will enter, which is an obvious sign to go against them. We will have the stop losses on the upper side, right? So this is the trade for the upside that could potentially arise, right? Now there's nothing else that I can spot. So one more trade that could potentially be a scalp, right? One trade scalp is this for the upside until here, the fib zone. So you could maybe plan this upside scalp, which is about 120 pips, which is more than enough for small, the so-called scalp trades. So this is it, I guess. So if let me just adjust this one. Okay. Yeah, this makes it more clear in terms of the head and shoulder that I said for the upside trade. Right. So there are three plans now. One, the selling trend, sell trade is confirmed. Sell trend is confirmed. So we will look to sell somewhere out here, which is the fib 0.5, zero point 0.6, right? Where ideally people, generally get on the opposite side. And we also have an RSI bullish sign. So we will look for an retracement trade if by the time we wake up in the morning, market is at this point, right? So we will try capturing this, right? If when we by the time we open the market is around this zone, so we get a 1:2 trade, right? So that's it, guys. So if you want to join my Telegram, the link is in the description, and the Access terminal is also having its link in the description. So do check it out, and that's it for the video. All the best, and have a profitable week ahead.